How's it going, everyone? I'm Lazark, and as you saw from the intro video, today we will take a look and review the Shure MV7, which you can see right here in front of my face. I'm currently speaking to the MV7 and the whole review will be recorded on the MV7. Well, maybe except the part where we compare the microphones, the HyperX Quadcast that I have been using so far and the Shure MV7, and I'll let you decide if the round $100 difference between those two microphones is worth it. Who would mostly benefit from this microphone and maybe who should avoid it? And as usual, if you enjoyed the video, if you find this helpful, leave a like, subscribe, comment. I try to answer all your questions, and without any further delay, let's jump right into the review. Let's start with build quality, and here Shure made sure that this microphone will serve you for years. The case is metal, really robust and could take a beating if you're into that kind of thing. The holder, which connects the microphone to a boom arm or a tripod, is also very rigid. There is an adapter which will allow you to mount the microphone to most common boom arms. Even the audio jack is fully metal, really solid, and has a very nice tension when connecting the headphones. Something which is really important, especially in longer period of times, as it will prevent the cable from falling out. The main capsule is hidden under the included windscreen, so you don't really need any additional equipment. There's also a built-in shock mount, which you cannot see with the naked eye as it is built into the case of the microphone. For my needs it was good enough. I wasn't able to notice any noise coming from the bumping of the desk or using my keyboard and mouse. Of course, you can buy an external shock mount which will reduce the accidental noise even further. The microphone allows you to control microphone gain, headphones gain and mix volume between the two, something I miss on the HyperX. Instead of incorporating traditional dials, Shure decided to use a bit more modern approach with touch panel and LEDs that display the set level. The dial is rather intuitive to use. You can switch easily between microphone and headphone modes as well as the mix. You can also lock the settings to prevent any accidental change, which is a really welcome feature. Again, something I wish HyperX did with their gain knob. The manufacturer also decided to include two USB cables, one with USB-A and one with USB-C connector. This will please all Mac users as they do not need any additional adapters to connect the microphone directly to their computer. The microphone itself is using a mini USB connector and an XLR port, and I think this is the main advantage over other USB-only microphones, as it will allow you to switch to XLR almost seamlessly. It's really hard to find anything that would be amiss when it comes to build quality of this microphone. I believe it will satisfy even the most demanding users. And now let's move on to the included software, ShurePlus Motiv. So now let's check the ShurePlus Motiv, which is basically a dedicated software to control your microphone, change various settings, adjust some equalizer settings, and so on. You can see it on the screen right now. You can change the microphone gain, and when I lower the gain, you will hear me less. There is also a monitor mix where you can adjust the mix between the microphone sound that you hear in the speaker, so in the headphones, so basically yourself, and the playback that's being played back on your computer, which is really nice, for example, when you're streaming or when you're gaming and you want to still hear yourself but still hear what's going on in the game. There's also some built-in equalizers, and I'll let you listen on what they do. This is the high pass that's basically cutting out all the boomy, bassy stuff from your audio. So it's a more, I would say, mid-focused and high-tone focused thing. There's also a presence boost, which boosts the mids even further, but this time more actively. Does not reduce the bass, but boosts the mid to high tones for the better clarity. And high pass and presence boost basically cuts out the bass and boosts the high and basically boosts the clarity of your voice. I think that's the best description for it. There's also a built-in limiter that prevents you from clipping and so on. There's also a compressor which serves as a compressor, so it can whenever you're starting to scream and shout, I'm not gonna do it, save your ears the pain, but basically helps you compress the sound so it's more more flat and there is no clipping here. So this is the manual control. You can save the presets whatever you want, and you can then just later recall them. There's also auto level feature. You probably heard a change in the voice when I was turning it on, because basically how it works, you can choose the position of your microphone, whether it's close or whether it's far, and the software automatically changes the gain and so on of the microphone to better suit the distance you're talking from. and adjust accordingly. So you should always get the same results, no matter whether you're far or close. And there are also a tone changer, which the one we were using so far is the natural one because it doesn't introduce any distortions and changes in the voice. But there's also a dark one, which boosts the bass, makes the whole sound a bit more muddier, I guess, more boomy. I guess you could say it's more like in a radio. But there's also a bright one which does the opposite, so it boosts the clarity of your voice, the high tones, and reduces the bass of your voice. I'm going to stick to natural because when recording, I want to have as natural sounding voice as possible, so then I can do whatever I want with it. I can boost the bass, I can boost the high tones, and so on and so forth. So this is basically the software. Of course, most of the things that you can do in the manual part of it, you can also do on the microphone. You can adjust the microphone gain, you can adjust the monitor mix, and obviously the gain on your headphones. So, and this is basically it for the software. It's not very complicated, it's pretty simple, but it's nice to have all those features built in and easily accessible onto from your PC, so that you don't have to reach here and change all those settings when you're doing something on your computer. It's pretty good, and it's pretty helpful. So now let's do a quick audio test. I have both microphones connected to one to my PC, one to my laptop. And let's see if you can hear the difference between two microphones, and you can judge for yourself which one you like more. Obviously they're quite different because the HyperX is a condenser microphone which is much more sensitive to the sound and picks up all the background noise, while the Shure MV7 is a dynamic microphone which is much better at reducing background noise, is slightly less sensitive, but it's great for any voiceover work you might do, for streaming, for podcasting. So I'll be switching between those two microphones, and below you can see which one is currently on the playback. What I really like about the HyperX Quadcast is that it's much more versatile because you can choose between various different pickup patterns, while the Shure MV7 only has a cardioid pickup pattern, so you can't choose whether it's an omnidirectional, stereo, or so on. It just have one built-in pickup pattern, and well, for a microphone that's mainly for podcasting and voiceovers, it's fine. But if you want to do something more universal, for example, I like to, as you probably saw on my channel, pick up the sound of the mice whenever I test them, like the click sound, keyboard sound, and so on. This one is much better for that. The Shure MV7 is a little bit too quiet to pick up all the different quiet sounds from the keyboard, from the mouse. So definitely this one is much more universal and you can use it for various things, while this microphone is made for broadcasting, for podcasting, for recording voiceovers, or for streaming. It's great. It's a great streaming microphone because you will not hear any background noise. You will not hear your keyboard. You will not hear your neighbor screaming or your housemate screaming, or whenever you're streaming in a very loud environment, like for example you can hear the street and the cars and people on the street, then this microphone is much better choice for you because it will offer much better noise suppression from the background. But for me, definitely the Quadcast will be the preferred choice because of the various things I do, like the keyboard tests, mice tests, and so on and so on. So let's stop it right here. I hope you already know which one sounds better for you. I'll need to listen to it and I'll share my thoughts in just a second. So is the MV7 a good microphone? For sure. I hope you see what I did there. It's a great microphone, but it's definitely not for everyone. For an average gamer, for an average content creator, or someone who is just starting out in the YouTube or content creation career, I think there are better and more budget-friendly options, like for example the HyperX Quadcast, which is still a great microphone with great sound quality. But for someone who thinks about transitioning to XLR and their budget is a bit more flexible and they're looking for something slightly more professional with less noise, with less background interference, because this microphone does it really well and has very little noise. I'm really surprised how noiseless, if that's a word, how noiseless this microphone is. It's great. Then this is a great choice. If if, like I said, you are looking to switch to XLR, if you're looking for something more professional and something that will just allow for that little bit more flexibility with that really low noise levels, then definitely look at the MV7. It's a great product, something in between the standard plug-and-play USB microphones and the more professional, more demanding when it comes to budget, especially microphones like the SM7B, also from Shure. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please consider subscribing to the channel for more similar content like this. I'm Laserk, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.